morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. It's like I got to do technology checks every time now after last week. So I want to make sure that you can hear me. It is Wednesday. It is the Diamond Factor Experience Show with Barbara Beckley and guests and experts. Like I said, it makes the whole, it makes the whole show go well when you have people supporting you, as I always say. So starting out with that, please, 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 if you have people that are supporting, that are collaborating with you, that are just believing in you, give them a virtual hug today. Send out a certain, like text or whatever you have to do, just to wish them that, you know what, I really appreciate you taking the time out to really heighten my dream, because basically this is a dream that I said I put on paper. What I always say, you dream, you put on paper, you get the vision, and then you put action to it. So this is the action part. This is where I said, okay, I really want to have a TV streaming show to really focus on awareness, educating, and motivating. And those are the three things that I feel like that we have been accomplishing and giving value. Now, I'm always open for suggestions. So I always ask people, please let me know if you want to see more things on the show, if you like certain things on the show, if some things are like, oh, Barbara, maybe you could do something. So I'm open to some suggestions. I'm open to some suggestions. And I'm also open if you want to be a sponsor on the show. If you want your services or products shown, go these interviews, between the takes. Like I said, you see these different 30-second, commercials and everything. You can be right there, so people can see you and you can get exposure, because it's all about giving you exposure. So with that, I just want to make sure that you know that I'm here to do that, because like I said, it's really important to help each other out, what I said about collaboration. So today, I just want to get right into it. I know we have two wonderful, wonderful experts today. We got Mr. Barry Mixon, as always. He's going to be bringing us the gems and the value and the background of it and the history and all that kind of stuff. He just, that's just how he is. He's just awesome. And then after that, we're going to have Miss Laura Armstrong come in and show us how to work our personalities and how to really gel with each other and understand how to talk to one another without maybe just saying, I don't like that person. And I'm loving that, because, our perception of people, we get caught up in the perception of people, and we look at them and they might, be, maybe they're real strong, in their demeanor or something like that. The first thing you say is, ooh, I don't know if I want to deal with them. And then when you get to know them and talk to them, they're kind of the sweetest, wonderful people that you could meet. And I have experienced that a lot of times. It has showed me wrong when I think of something one way and it comes out a different way, which is a beautiful way that comes out in that way. So, that's just a tip. Don't perceive people in a certain way, because you never know who they are deep inside. And then you got to know their story. So that all goes back to the story of their life. So with that, what are we going to do? We're going to start the show. Oh, I'm sorry. I was doing the what's that the group that I love so much. I was back here just jamming. I'm telling you, I gotta bring some more music. I really do. And I told you I'm thinking about doing them drums. I'm serious. I am serious. People think I'm not serious. I'm really thinking about doing them drums. So that let me bring on Mr. Barry Mixon. I know he's down there like, okay, Barbara, here we go.
Good morning. And to all my friends and family in France, bonjour, bienvenue, and everyone here in the United States, welcome to another episode of the Gem Hunter Show. My name is Barry B. Mixon. I am a gemological storyteller, and each and every week, I'd like to take you on an adventure into the art, science, history, and magic of gemstones, precious metals, and fine jewelry. For the last few weeks, we have been talking, really from the beginning, we have been talking about stories. And some of you have been sending me texts and things like this, wanting a deeper understanding of the relationship between stories and gemstones. So you've come to the right day. Today is the day that things are going to start congealing for you. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the 4 C's of diamond grading: cut, color, clarity, and carat weight. The 4 C's are basically the story of a diamond. That's what appraisers like myself and other appraisers all over the world, this is what we use to determine not only the story of a diamond, but more importantly, the value. Because as I said to you, and I've been saying you from the beginning, nothing has value without a story. And I hope some of you have been thinking about that. Anything that you think about that you said that this has value, I don't care if it's a pen, lip gloss, whatever, those things have value because you are telling a story. So let me introduce you. I have to go to my safe. You guys don't know I have a safe filled with gemstones. No, I don't. But it is an honor and a privilege to introduce you to this is the Hope Diamond. Or to my friends in France, this is Le Bleu de France. This diamond was stolen, I should be honest, by a Frenchman named Jean-Baptiste Taverny in about, I think it was in 1668. And this gemstone, the diamond itself, was found there in India. He brought it back. And it's gone through several hands. It literally he sold it to Louis the 14th. He sold to Louis the 14th in order to become a noble because there was a kind of a price for that. And it went through several hands. Marie Antoinette owned it for a while. Napoleon III's wife, Eugenie, she had owned it. And then eventually it was lost for a while. It was stolen actually in 1791, French Revolution. It was missing for a long time. And then it eventually wound up being in the ownership of a American socialite named Evelyn Walsh McLean. And for those of you who know the Hope Diamond, there's a whole lot of mystique to the Hope Diamond. The Hope Diamond is supposedly haunted. So let me go. So it's haunted, and eventually it was bought by Harry Winston, who ultimately donated it to the Smithsonian Museum as part of their permanent collection. So let me move out the way and introduce you to Le Bleu de France, otherwise known as the Hope Diamond. For the past few weeks, we've been talking about the four C's, and I told you last week that the most important C of the four C's is cut. Cut, for those of you who are in there, cut is everything. Cut is not marquise, cushion cut, princess. That's shape. Cut is everything. Cut is the symphony of everything coming together. To put it in layman's terms, cut is that ring when you're standing in a room at a party, and across the room, you see this beautiful woman with a glass in her hand, and you see the ring on her finger. And as you're looking at it, you realize the only reason why you notice it is because that ring seems like it has captured all the light that's in the room, leaving you with the only thing to say is, wow, or damn, that's a really nice ring. That's cut. Ladies, cut is, this is, as Barbara put, this is international. The other day was International Women's Day. This is Women's Month. So ladies, when cut is when you're going out to that fancy party or you're going on that date, and you know you got to bring everything together. So your hair, your makeup, your nails, your lipstick. You found the perfect anatomically correct outfit, dress that just accents every aspect of your body, and you found the perfect shoes to go with the whole thing, those shoes that you've been saving for just that moment, and you put it all together, and when you walk out that door, you just go, voila. That's cut. Cut is everything that you love and hold so dear about a gemstone. The official definition of cut is the way a diamond interacts with light. Think about that. The way a diamond interacts with the light. And as I told you last week, there is an analogy to that, because when you have a diamond, cut has to start with a decision. The Hope Diamond, which is and I'll go into the stats on the Hope, that the Hope Diamond it is now a 45.52 carat diamond, but it didn't start out like that. It started out, the original gemstone, the original diamond that Tavernier brought back was 115 carats. So the diamantaire, the diamond cutter, had to make a decision on what best cut, what is the best way that he was going to fashion that diamond, the symmetry, the proportion, to maximize the way it interacts with the light. And that diamantaire, and I don't know his name, the person who actually cut the Hope Diamond, which is called, and this is called an antique cushion cut. He or she, well, actually he in those days, he decided that that was the best cut to maximize the light performance. So today, what we're going to talk about is the next C. In gemology, in jewelry, normally it goes cut, color, clarity, and then carat weight. But in terms of a story, color, although vitally important, I can't wait to talk about color next week, because it's going to change your whole mind about way you're thinking about not only just color diamonds, but your color. But clarity in terms of a story is equally important. Almost, it's literally the next thing after cut, after understanding who do you want to be that's going to maximize the light, the way you interact with the light. So clarity does that. In gemology, in jewelry, clarity, the definition of clarity is the absence of blemishes or inclusions. The absence of blemishes or inclusions. So as an appraiser, when I look at a diamond, the first thing I'm looking at is, where does it fit into the four C's? What is the clarity? How many inclusions or blemishes, if any, does it have? So what is an inclusion? What is a blemish? A blemish is what happens externally. Things that has happened to the diamond externally. It could be polish lines when you're actually cutting and fastening the diamonds. It could be scratches. It could be nicks. It could be cuts. Those things happen external to the diamond, on the surface of the diamond. That's what a blemish is. And a blemish can be dealt with. The blemish can be polished out. You can create different facets. You can cut it in such a way where the blemish is downplayed in regards to the whole thing. When you put a gemstone in a setting, if you have a blemish on the outside, you can create a setting that hides that blemish. So that's what a blemish is. An inclusion is what happens inside. An inclusion is what happens when the diamond literally is developing and forming, and there's something in the structure of that diamond that the diamond wraps around that thing. It could be a fracture, what we call feathers. It can literally be another crystal. There are some diamonds that will have other gemstones like tourmaline in the diamond that you can see. For those of you, let's clear up something else that I hear people say all the time. People always say carbon spots. Yes, but I want you to think of carbon spots not as a bad thing. In fact, inclusions for gemologists are not considered flaws. They're considered characteristics, internal characteristics. So those dark spots that you see may in fact be, sometimes it is a mineral, but also sometimes it's carbon. And what I want you to think of carbon in a diamond is not a bad thing. As a diamond is forming, sometimes the whole diamond doesn't crystallize. It's like living in a house where some of the house gets warm and there's certain rooms of the house that's always cold. That's what those carbon spots are, where those spots in the diamond did not completely crystallize. So that's what that is. So when you're talking about clarity, you're talking about, there's 6 categories. You have internally, you have flawless, which very rarely ever happens. Understand that people talk about flawless diamonds. 1% of all the diamonds ever created in or found in the world, 1% of them are flawless. You have internally flawless IF. You have VVS 1 and 2, very, very slightly included, 1 and 2. You have VS 1 and 2, very slightly included. Then you have the S's. You have, which most people see all the time, SI 1 and 2, and then you have the included diamonds. 1I, 1, 2, and 3. Those are the diamonds. Those are the gemstones. Those are the pieces of jewelry that when you look at it, you can see the inclusion with the naked eye. Everything else is based on using a loupe, a 10-powered loupe. So when I started thinking about the 4 C's, as I was studying gemology, I began to think that it's interesting how we determine the value of a diamond based on the 4 C's, or what we call value factors. Those factors have to come together. This, in fact, let me give you, this is the Hope Diamond, as I said, the Le Bleu de France. The cut is an antique cushion cut. The color is a fancy grayish, dark grayish blue. The clarity is a VS1. It's not flawless. For a long time, people thought it was flawless, but it's not. The GIA actually tested it just a few years ago, and it ranks, the grading is a VS1. That means there are inclusions, some of them on the outside of it. So it's a VS1. The carat weight is a 45.52 carat, and the value of it, when you put all those things together, the value of it runs around $350 million. So the story, the 4 C's of this gemstone, of the Hope Diamond, dictates as an appraiser for me to value it at $350 million. It probably would even run even more because of who owned it, the provenance of it. So when you think about clarity, I think about how we can use those same concepts into who we are. Because just like a diamantaire, a diamond cutter has to decide what is the best cut, what is the best shape, the symmetry, the proportion to make a diamond. He has to also decide how that shape, how that cut is going to the relationship between that cut and the inclusions and the blemishes that diamond has. There's very rare, very rare. It's very, very rare for you to ever find a diamond that's flawless. So let's just get that out your head. Flawless diamonds, yes, there are flawless diamonds, but if you have 15 million, 30 million, 70 million dollars to pay for it, then so the rest of us are going to get a diamond with flaws. Think about it. Diamonds come from 90 to 125 miles in the ground, 3,600 degrees temperature, 70,000 pounds per square inch. And if you went through all that, of course, you're going to have some inclusions and blemishes. Now, think about it yourself. Think about all the things that you have gone through in your life that has caused some blemishes, some inclusions. And that's the decision that we have to make. We have to first make the decision of whether or not the things that has happened in our lives, are those things inclusions or are they blemishes? Are they all the things, the circumstances, the situations, the problems, the challenges that we have gone through in our life, all those blemishes, meaning it happened, it can be fixed, it can be adjusted, it can be hidden, or are they deep? Are they inclusions? Did we grow up? Did we develop with this thing within inside of us? That's the decision we have to make. For me, the things that I've gone through in my life, many of the things I have gone through in my life, I have decided those things were blemishes. Being homeless, as horrific as that was a blemish. It lasted a year. It was horrible, but I was able to do things to buff it out, to polish it out. The man that you see in front of you today, 28 years ago, literally 28 years ago, I was sleeping in dumpsters and under cars and abandoned buildings. I am that person. But so that blemish that was temporary, that happened externally to me, I was able to figure out a way to change what I am. So this way, the way I interact with the light is different today than it was then. Those people, we all know people who have gone through things in their life and their thinking is different because of that. People who have gone through like the Great Depression, parents, grandparents that have gone through the Great Depression, you know that their relationship with money is different because they know what it feels like. Their whole childhood consisted of being just dirt poor. They didn't have any money. So when they think of money, it's a different relationship than people who have had money all the time. For me, an inclusion in my life was my mom. My mom, I grew up in a household. I told you many times that my mom was a severe alcoholic. So one of the things that she did was she absolutely never told me that she loved me. Never, not even, and I've been thinking about this like forever. So those of you who think, there's something wrong with Barry. Yeah. My mother never told me that she loved me, but there were things. So that was the inclusion inside of me for a very, very long time. And I had to figure out a way to recut myself, to physically and mentally and spiritually change myself where who I am as a person interacted with the light differently. So for a long, long time, the faceting of Barry Mixon was dark. The light that was coming in did not reflect out. You did not see that. All you saw was blackness. I told people all the time, people who know me know that I love Darth Vader. I love Darth Vader May 1977 because when I saw Darth Vader, the blackness of who he was, I knew that's who I wanted to be. That's who I was. So it's all about how you like a diamond, how you interact with the light. And the amazing thing, the thing that makes us different than gemstones, the thing that makes us different than the diamond is that unlike a diamond, we can change it. We can change who we are. The homework assignment that I gave you guys, and I asked you in the Facebook post, which diamond was flawless? None of them. All of the diamonds that are on that list, and I'll go by order. The first one was the 245 carat rough diamond that I showed you. In fact, Jeff Stein showed me that diamond. Thanks, Jeff. He sent me that diamond. That's all. You can see the inclusions in the picture. The dark marks, that's the inclusions. The next diamond is the alternate diamond. That's a VS2 diamond. The Hope diamond, as I said, this is the VS1. The next diamond was the Elizabeth Taylor diamond ring. Something like 33.9 carats. It was a VS1. The next one was the Dresden green, which we'll talk about color. The Dresden green grew up in a toxic environment. In order to get a green color, it grows up with something that is radioactive. I mean, if that's not toxicity, I don't know what is. The next diamond after that is the Tiffany diamond, which I love the name. It's called Bird on a Rock. You literally have this diamond bird sitting on a wonderful 102 carat diamond. And the last one is the Graf Sunflower, which also is, the Bird on a Rock is the VS2 and the Graf diamond is the VS1. So all of these diamonds, this is the most famous dark blue diamond in the world, and it's not perfect. It has inclusions. It has blemishes. There are things that is, I'm going to say wrong. And you want to say wrong. There's things that give it character. There's things that make it happen. In fact, when we talk about color, you will learn that the reason why it is blue is because of an inclusion on a molecular level. So what I want you to get out of today, what I want you to begin to think about is what are your inclusions? What are your blemishes? What are the things that are just surface to who you are? And what are the things, and be honest with yourself, what are the things that is the inclusion that you grew up believing? And then you have to ask yourself all those things, not so much did they happen or are they real, but what more importantly, and I think it's more powerful to think, what can you do to change that? What can you do as a person, as a human being, to change the way you interact with light? And as I told you last episode, light for a diamond is just the light that comes from the sun, the light that comes from a lamp, a candle light. That's light for a diamond. It exists because of the light. For us, not only do we get that light, but we get the light of education. We get the light of experiences. We get the light of circumstances. All those things, our cultures, our teachers, our parents, all those things came together to create who we are today. And we have to make the decision on what we're going to absorb and what we're going to reflect. I was angry for decades. Why? Because I chose the inclusion of my mom to allow my light to be dark. Years later, I realized that one of the greatest things that my mother did for me was make me read. Was to tell me, don't come home with anything less than a B on your report card. I still take classes and I hear my mother in the back of my mind, what you get? I only got a B plus, Mom. That's it? Mom, I swear I'm going to do better next time. I've changed the inclusion that interfered with the way I reacted with the light. Now that inclusion, I realize that inclusion is what allows me to enhance my relationship with the light. So what I want you to get out of today is that with a gemstone, with a diamond, an inclusion is the absence of for a diamond, clarity is the absence of inclusions or blemishes. With us, clarity is the acceptance of that blemish, of that inclusion, and how we work with that blemish and that inclusion to enhance and to interact with the light. So next week, we're going to talk about color and the relationship with color to our story and to who we are. And it doesn't matter if you're African American or what color you are, what race you are, there's a relationship that you have with the light that is a part of your story. And I look forward to working, to seeing all of you next week. And as always, take the time to think about your story and take the time to discover the value of your own story. Au revoir.
I'm hanging on your every word, the love inside, I feel it burn. I've never felt this way before. I've had a taste, now I want more. So here we are, just you and me. I'm overwhelmed when you touch me. You talk so sweet, I hear the sound, 'cause when you do, my feet won't touch the ground. My feet won't touch the ground.
Thank you, Barry. Barry, always, every week, every Wednesday, he comes with the goods. He comes with the goods. Now, it's funny because he was talking about his mother and his relationship and how she said, you need to be like a B plus. Barry, I want to let you know. I want to let you know if you're still listening. My mother, I brought A's and she's like, where's the A plus? That's it. You just got an A. Yeah, I was even at a higher standard. At a higher standard. I was when I graduated from high school, I graduated with honors and I had the honor. I forgot what they call it, but the honorary thing. And out of my class, I was number, I think, 15. She's like, that's you not she said, you're not even a 10th. You're not even a regular 10th. You 15. So yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. I think that's why I'm so hard on myself till today. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate it. But you know what? We always turn the, things that we deal in our lives and our stories from, a negative that we thought of to a positive. So I do have to thank my mother because it was tough love journey for me that I believe that made me out the woman to be today. To persevere, to move forward, to always think high, to always try to succeed in what you're trying to do. So, I do thank my mother for that. She pushed it. Well, she pushed it. But that's why I pushed myself. So thank you, Ma. And Barry, thank you for your mother too, even though I know you're probably saying, yeah. But that's why you're the man today, because we push. So I didn't get to a quote. Well, I did have the quote at the time because I was kind of, I always like to get a quote that fits the mood and fits the show. So this one I'm bringing back though, because it's about obstacles. And I had a few this week. Some people know already, just to let you know, my email was hacked. My email was hacked. Oh, oh, and I'm still feel like it's taking anybody, just to let you know, if something like that happens to you, it's not just a day thing. This thing lingers on because if your email is hooked up to other things that you do, and this is as a tip, make sure you get LifeLock. LifeLock will help you a lot to make sure if anything happens like that, that you can recover and get things to a certain level. Second, if your email is hooked up to like other products that you do, like Calendarly or sending out cards, stuff that I do, I had to all that had to be reset. So yeah, it's been a journey. But again, this is the quote. This is the quote that's getting me through. Obstacles cannot stop you. Problems cannot stop you. Most of all, other people can't stop you. The only thing who can stop you is yourself. So I could have stopped myself a few days ago and went in a pity party stage in a corner somewhere and cried. But guess what? That wouldn't got nothing done. I would still been in the same position, and you just got to just move forth. And I look at it like this. Sometimes things happen for a reason, as I always tell people. And maybe this was just to say, you know what? We're going to sift away all the things that maybe was going to be, not help you and start you afresh. So I look at it as that. So start me afresh, but it's a painful fresh. Your emotions are there. You know the emotions get there. But yeah, so don't let anybody, just don't sabotage yourself. That's what the whole thing is. Do not sabotage yourself. Remember, you're a diamond. You have your diamond factor. So you have to make sure you shine at all times, even through the rough days. You're still a diamond. Diamond has the cuts, diamond has shaping. So that's what I'm shaping in the cuts right now. So with that, we're going to bring on Mrs. Queen, Laura Armstrong. She's going to come with the goods. I can't wait. You always say, I was going to remind you, the pen, the paper, take those notes. Very important. You are getting expertise, information here, the genius and the gifts. Don't take it for granted. Do not take it for granted. So here she comes.
Good morning, everybody. How are you? It's Laura Armstrong here with Leadership with Laura, and I'm looking forward to continuing our discussion today on communication and how important it is in every aspect of our life. And so I've been working with a communication methodology called BANK, which, like other personality assessments, defines 4 different types of personalities. And, there are tons of assessments out there. They all have huge value. Why I love BANK so much is because it is reverse engineered to teach you how to speak to the values that are important to people and the people that you interact with, not only so that they're getting your message in the language they understand, but also that they feel that they're being heard. And I feel today like those challenges it's even more challenging today than it was before because of the restrictions we've had going online. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. The previous weeks I went through each personality type. Today we're going to summarize that up, and I'm going to let you know near the end of the show what we've got coming up next week, which is going to be super, super exciting. So for me, I was always the type of person who would be very excited about things, and that would turn people off, some people, because it wasn't the way they thought about stuff. I would talk over people. I wasn't listening actively. And I got to tell you, since learning in the last, 5, 10, 15 years, I've completely changed around how I've communicated with others. And even in just the last couple years, implementing this has shown up as huge change in my life in a good way. Stepping into my leadership, stepping into moving forward, and stepping into success. And that shows up in your bank account, right? Let's not forget how important money is. I think sometimes we put that on the back burner because we're so involved in helping people that we actually need money to function and help more people. So it's an important part of our journey. So today I'm just going to review a little bit about each of the personality codes. I'm going to talk about their sales tips, and I'm going to just give you like a little summary of each. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a little preview of what's coming up next week. And we're going to continue our journey together for a little while. So I'm excited about that. Please don't forget that you can contact me at laura@leadershipwithlaura.com with any questions, concerns, or if you just want to chat with me and find out a little bit more about what's going on. I'd love to hear about you and what you do. because I really feel like hearing people's journey really inspires me on my own, and I want the best and most for you. So, I always love connecting with people. So let's talk about the 4 personality types. Now, BANK is an acronym for the 4 personality types: the blueprint, the action, the nurturing, and the knowledge. Now, we're going to start with the blueprint. So the blueprint is someone who is extremely stable, okay? They love structures, systems, planning, processes. They love to feel like there's credibility and responsibility. So, when you're talking to a blueprint, it all has to have a system and it has to be organized, okay? They are very much inside the box, and rules are absolutely meant to be followed. I feel like the blueprint is one of probably the most challenging ones that I've had to deal with in my life. So I really feel like when you're working with the blueprint, if this is your natural code, that you love to be organized about things, right? It's super key for you. And when you're using BANK, you really need to be getting out of your own head and into their head, right? So you need to be thinking about what you're saying and listening to the cues that they're giving you, right? So if I put on my blue glasses, my blueprint glasses, and I look through the lens of the blueprint, I'm going to very much be not thinking the way I normally think. And I'm going to be thinking about, so if I'm going to help somebody, it has to have a process around it. It's got to make sense. It has to minimize risk, which is very important, and maximize value. There, something around a guarantee would be something, absolutely, it's going to be a deal breaker. So you need to be thinking that way. So let's talk about some of the blueprints sales tips. So I'll just take off my blueprint glasses, although I'm still in blueprint. So you want to be professional and organized, okay, and be on time. Okay, and I talked about this when we did the blueprint segment. If your blueprint personality type will always be early, right? So make sure that you're earlier than them. If you want to make a good impression, that's where you need to be, right? So you want to be, if they're showing up 10 minutes early, you need to be 15, 20 minutes early. And they're going to feel like they're obligated to you and like they were late, but they actually weren't. So it's kind of cool. So the other thing you want to do is have a step-by-step plan that you can give them, that they can follow, that makes sense, okay? And don't be too pushy or exaggerate. Like, keep everything calm. You want to have an even tone. Just give them the facts and the information, because that's what they're looking for. And you're going to provide them with proof and references. Like, for instance, if your company's been in business for 30 years, they want to know about stuff like that. They want to know if you've won awards. To them, that's credibility, and it's very, very important to them. Okay. Minimize the risk to get involved with you, right? So know that they're going to have certain outcomes when they get involved with you, and anything they're worried about, like it could be cost risk, it could be a loss of information or something that they value. You don't want to bring that into it at all. So make sure that you got that covered. And finally, you want to stay within budget. This will be an absolute deal breaker when you're working with a blueprint. Make sure that if you give them a price, you stick to that price and budget or whatever that is. Like, I know for me and my husband, we do a budget every week. It keeps him, like, he knows where everything is. He knows where the money's allocated. He knows where everything goes. And that's important to him. For me, I don't care, right? I just go out. I've got it all in my head. I'm figuring it out. But he needs that. And so for us to communicate better, I get out of my comfort zone and I say, okay, this is a good idea. Now we know where all the money's coming from. How do you feel about it? He goes, yeah, that makes sense to me. And I literally see him smile, right? So it may not mean as much to you, but the impact you can have on someone who is a blueprint personality type is just super key, right? So don't forget about that. And it's the same thing if you've got blueprint children. They'll be the ones with the organized closet. You never have to ask them to pick up their toys. Or if you do an activity, you have to plan it way ahead for them. Don't just spring it on them. Surprise parties are a no-no. Okay, so make everything organized and just say, okay, we're going to go on vacation. This is our schedule. This is what we're planning. And even plan out like free time and just say, okay, so we're doing this hour. Like, to you, that may sound like something crazy, but to them, they're like, yeah, that makes sense to me. So really, when you're thinking about these things, especially with children, and when you're dating, if you're dating a blueprint, man, they are going to plan your whole date down to like where you're going to sit in the chair. Some may not be that extreme, but get used to that, right? Because they want you to have the best experience. And to them, that means everything is planned out and they know exactly what the outcomes are. Okay. So that's just a little bit about the blueprint. So just to summarize them, if you're prepared coming into a meeting sales wise, if you're on time, organized, and professional, if you're not pushy and don't exaggerate and stay within budget, you are speaking the language of a B, of a blueprint. Have your facts straight, show your step-by-step systems for success, and minimize your risk. And as you adjust what you say and begin to speak their language, your blueprint clients will actually respect you more and more. Okay. And word gets out about that to the other blueprints. All right. So that's just kind of a little summary around the blueprint. So now we're going to move into the action sales tips. So the action, we'll just give a little summary before we do that. They love freedom. They love flexibility. They love opportunity and excitement. I know, because that's my primary code. They love being the center of attention, right? And here I go. I've got my action glasses on. These are my everyday glasses that I use when I'm not using bank, which I'm using all the time. So they love winning and competition, stimulation, opportunity and excitement. For me, I'm a 3-time world champion martial artist. I mean, could I be more action, right? So make sure that when you're talking to actions, you'll recognize them because they always like to look good. They want to be acknowledged and seen. They want to feel like sometimes they're the center of attention. When they come in a room, they want to do it for effect. And they just love to hear about all the things that you're doing. They love to be a little bit loud, a little bit more engaged with people, and they love people, right? So make sure that when you're working with the action, that what you've got is stimulating, it's exciting, it's limited time, okay? And make sure that, if you make it they have a huge fear of missing out, a huge FOMO. So make sure that if you've got a limited number of something, that they know about that, right? And make sure the value is there for them. They will jump on it. And if you add a little bonus in, you've got them sold, okay? So I'm going to give you some of our sales tips for the action. These will be the easiest people to sell to. They will go for it, okay? Be cool and dress to impress. So not only will you recognize them by looking good, you have to look good, right? Display excitement and enthusiasm. And, if you're not in action, that can be a challenging thing because it may feel fake to you, right? But to them, they need to see that. They need to know you're as pumped as they are about what they're about to purchase, right? And you have to project that to them, okay? So skip the small talk and, get straight to the bottom line. They don't need the PowerPoint or the 20-minute presentation like the blueprint does. They just want the facts and they want to get to it because time is money for them. And I literally mean that. Okay. Have a sense of urgency and remember time is money. I just said that, right? So have fun, sell the sizzle, the lifestyle and the dream. I always come back to cars, right? So your actions are going to want something fast, something that looks good, something that's going to, not just give them value, but actually help them be seen. So for instance, when I bought my last motorcycle, it was a cherry red Striker, Yamaha Striker, and it got a lot of attention on the road. I liked the way it looked. I liked the gas mileage on it. I loved the way it felt on me, and I got so many looks. And as an action, that was important to me, right? And it's not in a narcissistic way. It's just my personality type, right? But because I can get out of my personality and into the other three, I was able to use that attention in a way that would help others, okay? Not necessarily on my motorcycle, but you know what I'm talking about. So don't overload with details, charts, and information. You're going to lose your actions in 2 seconds. They'll be on their phone. And they'll wait till you hit to the bottom line when you see them perk up, right? So get to the bottom line. So all you have to say is, do you have any questions? So you take a look at the card. Do you have any questions? Or did you just want to get to the numbers? And to you, that may seem like really abrupt. But to them, they're like, you're totally speaking their language, right? Introduce other successful, powerful influencers. This will go a long way. For myself, it's not a big deal to me about big names, but a lot of actions, that's what they see as the credibility behind what you're doing. So if you've got a name brand or an influencer or, the president of the company or whatever it is, make sure that you take the time to just say hello and Have them validate the product that they're buying, if that's possible, or have a quote by them, or have something, right? And then lastly, you want to be confident and charismatic. They are not going to buy from you if you don't feel like what you're selling is their dream. Okay. So, you need to be like, I love this car, right? Like, I've had it for so many years. I've had so much fun using it. And it's so exciting. We go on so many trips, and I've been able to like put the wind down in the summer, feel like I'm free, right? You're going to sell that to an action, no problem, right? Sell the sizzle. Okay. So, in summary, when you can keep the attention of the A's, okay, and make something exciting and sexy, energetic, or spontaneous, so they want to join you, you've created a great client rapport. That's important to them, okay? The goal is they'll most likely be the type of client who's a big spender, okay? And the goal is to make them think that you are cool like they are. So you kind of fit into that niche, right? This means you must dress to impress, but don't outdo them. You don't want to look better than them, okay? Be excited and enthusiastic, but make sure you get straight to the bottom line. Have a sense of urgency as you sell the sizzle lifestyle and dream, okay? Don't give too many details and leave spreadsheets and flowcharts. Leave those at the office. Get to the bottom line and give the A's recognition like the celebrities. If you treat them like VIPs, they will love you forever because they love that, right? Keep your schedule flexible for them. They may be able to come in last minute. I'm famous for doing that. My husband is like, oh my God, right? Like, he needs the schedule, right? So introduce them to other successful A personalities. This will be some of your best customers, and can introduce you to introduce you to the next powerful high spending prospect, because they know that you know how to speak to them. They're going to go tell all their other action peers, friends, family, and they're going to be like, you got to buy from this person because they're awesome, right? The other thing, when you have action children, let's just talk about that for a second. When you have action children, they're the ones who are going to be on the go all the time. So make sure you've got plenty of activities and projects, lots of stuff outside. I've seen so many action children entrepreneurs starting their own businesses at such a young age. A lot of the time, it's going to be the kids that have been diagnosed with ADD, ADHD. It's actually because they're high action children and they just need more activities, more input all the time, right? So just be aware of that. If you have action children, anything you set up as a competition or winning, it can be about themselves. It could be something a time-related activity that they've got to get finished. Like anything that's going to push them to win or be competitive with themselves or others, they're going to be all in. So keep them busy. And when you're dating in action, be ready for the ride of your life. It has to be fun. It has to be exciting. You have to be open to be doing things the last minute. And I guarantee you are just going to have the best time with the action personality type. And just, enjoy your time with them because they want you to have as much fun as they're having. Okay, cool. All right, so that's a little bit about summary on our action personality type. Next up is our nurturing. Okay, and I'm going to give you some sales tips. All right, so here are my nurturing glasses. Right, so the nurturer is the person that you love. Okay, they are kind, they are loving, they are the sunshine in your life. Okay, they love relationships and authenticity, creating community, right, and having personal growth and feeling significance, like they're making a difference, is really key to them. They love charity and morality, and something has to feel good to them for them to go forward in it, right? So if there's any kind of conflict or something is just like not looking good, their meter of knowing that and tuning into that sixth sense is absolutely 150%. So when you're working or interacting with nurturers, you want to look them right in the eye, right? And you want to be absolutely honest and straight. Their currency is not necessarily in money. It's more in people. They love people and they will be your biggest fans and your biggest referral network. So you want to be making sure that you stack up your peers and your contacts with nurturers. They're going to make a huge difference in your life and they want to help and they really mean it. They want to make a difference. Okay. So a few sales tips on the nurturer. So first of all, be authentic, transparent, and genuine. Okay. They will love you to death. Show them that you care more about them than the money. If you go for the straight sale like you would on the action, not going to fly. It has to mean something. Okay, so make sure you know what that is. All right. Introduce them to your team or your tribe. They want to feel like they're a part of the community of who you work with, right? And you're not just in a solo thing. Get them connected with others in your community as well. So I keep the car analogy. So if you're selling them a car, you're going to introduce them to your boss. You may introduce them also to the service people because they're going to be connecting with them at some point, right? So really bring other people into the community who would work with them so that it's just like everybody's around the campfire, right? Super important. Okay, so talk about a cause that you are passionate about. Maybe you or your organization on every sale contributes to a charity or some sort of philanthropic activity. They're going to love you for that, and they're all in. Okay, share your story. Share your why and how they can support you on your mission. Okay, so if you just say, you know what, I've got a contest. I've got to sell 100 cards by the end of the month because not only is that going to help people have the car of their dreams to take their family on trips, but every time we sell a car, we're going to give $100 to blah, blah, blah. You know what? They'll go and tap into their network and get you a ton of referrals. You just need to know how to speak to them, right? And be yourself and be honest and genuine and authentic. So be warm, friendly, and give big hugs. Not necessarily right now, but the virtual hug works just as well right now. Maintain good eye contact and allow them to connect with you. You actually have to be your vulnerable self if you're gonna be able to communicate properly with a nurturer. And sometimes that's stepping out on an uncomfortable limb, and be okay with that. Nurturing children, the same. They're awesome. They are loving. Sometimes they're a little bit needy, but make them feel loved, and they're great communicators. So make sure you're listening when they're talking to you because they really feel like they need to be heard. All right. They'll do activities. They probably have a ton of friends, and they're just wonderful children. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of sum up. If you're dating a nurturer, you are the luckiest person on the earth. They are all about you and making the experience incredible for you, and being together and spending time and enriching each other. So the nurturing personality type are some of the most loyal, selfless, loving people that you'll ever meet. Talk about the cause you're passionate about. Create an experience that doesn't feel like a sales process. Okay. Offer training, communicate, and share with them. They will quickly become your friends, and more quickly, your business relationship and personal relationship with them will expand. When you do these things and tap into their heart, you'll win the loyalty, business, and friendship of the nurturers. And lastly, we're going to step into our knowledge. Okay. So the knowledge personality type is some of the smartest people that I know. They are the experts in their field. I'm just going to put on my knowledge glasses, get into that mindset. Okay. So the knowledge are the experts in their field. They love learning and intelligence and self-mastery. They love technology, anything innovative, science, universal truth. They love to see the big picture about things. And the more that you've got information and white papers and research and development on what you do, they're going to be loving you because they love all that information. The biggest thing with them is they ask a lot of questions. A lot of people get peeved about that, but actually they can't make decisions because they don't have enough information. That's why they keep asking questions. So send them all the info you got. Say, let me know if you have any further questions, and how long do you need to look at that? They will actually say to you, yeah, you know what? I'll need a week. Can we, and you're like, well, let's book for a week out. Okay, sounds great. If you need to change that, let me know. They are all in, but you just need to give them the time to look at everything to make a decision. You don't want them to be in analysis paralysis. Okay. So a few sales tips before I wrap up here. Be smart and know your information. Provide them with the resources, documentation, and data to study, just like I said. Stay logical in your approach. Don't get all crazy or lovey-dovey. They don't want that. Just be factual, okay? And that's uncomfortable because it's probably not your normal state of mind, but you got to get out of your own head to get into theirs. Don't get overly emotional or excited, like I just said. Be able to debate and defend your product. They see you as the expert in your field, and so you have to step up and be that expert. Okay. And if you're not, bring someone else in who is, that will corroborate you and collaborate with you. Okay. Be able to justify your price. If you can do that, they're all in. Connect with them, with the subject matter expert, like I said, and give them the time to think about it. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make with knowledge. They want an instant decision now. If they don't give it, they dismiss them and they lose the sale. Don't do that. Give them the time they need. Okay. Knowledge children are the nerds, the ones who sit in the corner reading books, maybe seen as a little bit antisocial, but actually they're just in their heads all the time. Okay. So make sure that you're giving them information all the time, interacting with others, science club, chess club, things where they're actively using their brain, right? And can be developing that as well. Okay. A lot of Ks are athletes because to them, it's all about figuring out how to be the master at what they do, right? And the expert in their field, right? So that means they have to tune up their body to get into it, right? So if you're dating a K, again, it may feel like they're a little bit cold, but they're actually just checking you out, right? So be persistent and give them, if they're asking you a lot of questions, give them the questions, give them the answers to their questions. I can guarantee you they're some of the most loyal people you have, because once you win over a knowledge personality type, they will go out and tell every other knowledge about it. And you will all of a sudden have a huge network of people that you can refer to. Okay, so that's a little bit about each person, recap about each personality type. And this kind of shuts, so it closes off our segment of the 4 personality types. But what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to take all the stuff we did in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, and I'm going to bring it into our next segment, which is our intelligences training. I'm going to talk to you about the 6 intelligences. I'm not going to give away a lot, right? But how to use them, and not only in your business, but in your life. And so you're going to see where the gaps are happening and be able to shore those up. So I'm going to go through each intelligence. Next week, I'm going to give you an intro on all 6. And I'm so looking forward to that. But you know what? You needed all this information about the 4 personality types to move into that. So I want you to make sure that you show up next week. It's going to be another exciting 8-week segment I'm going to do. I've really enjoyed spending these last few weeks with you, getting you up on your bank knowledge. If you want to know more, if you'd like to do your free personality assessment and see what your bank code is and learn a little bit more about yourself, let me know. I'm happy to help out. All right. I will see you all next week. Have a great one and talk to you soon. Take care.
Yes, I'm celebrating the women all month. So you're going to be seeing little clips, different videos of how we celebrate women and how they have put so much in the world for us. Now, as Miss Laura was talking before, I have to say goodbye to everybody for today, but not too soon because I'll see you on Friday. My bank code, I never explained it. My bank code is ANKB. So it's action, nurture, knowledge, and blueprint. Now, I was thinking as Miss Laura was talking, I need to find somebody and with that same bank code. Because especially when she said, when you're an action person, she's right. When you're an action person, be ready for the ride of your life because we just like to just woo. And then, the nurturing, we show so much love, so much compassion. We're there for you. I'm always talking about, especially the women. You know me, I love the men, but the women, I just have a heart for because we come together and we're just trying to just rock it. So that's my nurturing and knowledge. I do my researching and I always taking classes. I'm forever taking classes. In fact, I was like, one day I was looking at 3 different summits at the same time. That is crazy. Don't do that. That's a no. How are you going to understand what's going on when you have 2 laptops and you're looking at Clubhouse? No, it don't work that way. Pick one, focus. And then last but not least, I got the B for blueprint. And you see I'm last. I got to work on timing. I know I do. So just hopefully, Laura always explains things so wonderful. But I just I always have to do a summary of that because I never gave anybody my bank code, and now I got to look for somebody with my same bank code because I do want to have the time of my life. I'm not getting younger. Hey, I might as well have some fun, right? Yes. You only live once, right? You only live once. So with that, I'm going to leave you with another wonderful quote of mine that I always pull up. And then we will see each other on Friday. Be here, same time, same station on Friday, this Friday. Never give up on something you really, really want. It's difficult to wait. I know it's difficult to wait. This is where the patient comes in, but it's more difficult to regret. It's more difficult to regret. So you don't want to regret on things. I've been there, I've done that, and that's why I tell myself I'm trying to just reach for the stars now because when I get even older than I am now, I don't want to have regrets. At least I can say to myself, I tried it. Even if it didn't come, full fruition and the results didn't happen the way it did, at least I stepped up. At least I moved forward. At least I pushed. At least I persevered in it. So I can say, you know what, I did it. I tried, but I don't have to have no regrets. When you don't try at all, when you don't even, put it to the side or whatever, and you become impatient, that's when those regrets come. So remember, as I always tell you, that's why, I always spin it to the PPD, your purpose, passion, drive. That's why it's so important to understand that because when you push that and everything else around you is going haywire, like hacking of your email and, hurricanes and floods and everything else, you know who you are. You know who you are. Be patient with it. If you really believe in what you believe in, push through it. Don't have those regrets. Don't have those regrets. So with that, we will see you on Friday. We have some authors, just to give you a little overview. We're going to have some authors from Make It Happen book, collaboration book that I'm in, and 30 other authors are in. So I've been doing weekly. I've been showcasing them, giving them exposure because, like I said, I always love to make sure, especially women, to get the exposure out there. So they'll be on. And then we're going to have a special guest. And every time I say special guest, that means it's a surprise, and I can't tell you a special guest name. But you won't know the special guest until if you come on Friday. So see, that gives you something to say, oh boy, I gotta see the show. Who's the special guest? So with that said, please love yourself so much today. Understand who you are. Remember your PPD, your purpose, passion, drive, and remember that you are the diamond factor in life. Show that love to everybody. Bye.